Welcome in. I am the Crypto Bull God, and this is All in the Charts. If you appreciate the content, please make sure to hit the thumbs up button, drop me a comment, click the bell icon for notifications to know when I go live. I don't always know many hours in advance, so you'll always get notifications when I do go live. Rich, welcome in, brother. You're going to put this on the TV while you prep dinner. My face on a TV is a scary, scary thought. So yeah, we're going to take a look at a bunch of charts today like we always do. There'll be plenty of opportunity for welcome in YC. There'll be plenty of opportunity for TA Q&A today. No TNA today. No TNA. We're sticking to the TA. So I wanted to cover a few charts here. I'm going to lead off with a chart a little bit different this week. We're going to take a look at the S&P, have some thoughts there. And then we're going to get into some Bitcoin charts, Ethereum, and a few others. So let's take a look at what is going on in the S&P. Now, real quick, for those that feel it's so hard to believe that the S&P could set new all-time highs this year, or maybe we bleed a little bit into 24, but it's just so hard to fathom. I took this price action. You see these red bars going up? I just took a bars pattern from a prior move that we saw at two different spots. And just looking at this, is it so hard to believe that by the end of the year, the S&P could make a new all-time high? You have to understand, whatever's going on in the economy and whatever's going in the stock market, they can be very opposite to one another. Okay, we'll get into some fundamental conversation and dialogue on an upcoming video that I've been working on. You should have seen something pop up about how your bank is lying to you. We'll get into more thoughts there in terms of why those things diverge, lagging indicators, all sorts of things. But for the moment, you can't argue with the charts, right? So kind of taking this out, looking at the S&P, what's kind of going on here. Price action right now is not surprising one bit, and I'll explain to you why. And it has to do with this gray descending line, okay? You can see we broke out of major descending resistance here. But right now, we have this descending area of resistance we need to break through. Looks like price this week, it would be really nice if we could close our weekly candlestick above, like, say, 4130. Right now on the S&P, we're sitting at 4108, okay? So it wouldn't take much of a move. But it would be nice to see a close up there, because that would be a candle body close above descending resistance, which would be a bullish signal. But it's all, again, it's all about this 43.25 level. I've spoken to this several times on this channel. We want to get candle body closes above 43.25, because once we take out this lower high, once we're sitting on top of this range here, there's a very high likelihood we're coming for this, and then we're finally coming for the prior all-time high. Okay, so keep an eye on the S&P. As I've indicated before, the strength within the stock market is very important because it is correlated to a risk-on asset class, which is cryptocurrency. So let's take a look at what's going on in the Bitcoin chart. It's very important if you want to assess the overall health of the market. We need to see how Bitcoin is doing. So that's why there's such an emphasis on taking a look at Bitcoin, because it is the mothership of cryptocurrency right now. Okay. So you can see we broke out of this ascending triangle / bull pennant. But what I was looking at earlier, if you look at a 1 hour time frame, you see this nice thick red body and a long wick up. And you see on the 4 hour, same sort of thing. This is called a hanging man doji, I think. But basically, it's just a sign of a trend reversal to the downside. Okay, so you have this thin, medium-sized red body and a huge wick coming up here. Now, what does that actually mean for us? Keep in mind, this is a lower time frame, right? We're not looking at a weekly chart where this is appearing. If this were in a weekly chart, that would be the sign of a major trend reversal, okay? This is a 4 hour chart. So, for instance, if I saw this and I looked at the relative health of the moving averages and how overextended we are, okay, the first area I personally just focusing on higher moving averages, maybe we come back down to 28.4, 28.5, 28.6, We'll just have to keep an eye on price. Now, keep in mind, this candlestick is a leading indicator to tell us there's more than likely a trend reversal to the downside, okay, but it doesn't have to pan out that way. It's a big caution flag though. But again, keep in mind, I'm talking about lower time frames. I don't quite honestly, unless if something materially changes in the chart, I don't care if we personally go up here, or I personally don't care if we come back down here and then go up. It doesn't change my long-term outlook, okay? My long-term outlook, again, I really want us to get up in this $35.5 to $43,000 roughly by the time we close May, okay? Nothing in this chart and the wave symmetries that I've spoken to in the Elliott wave count from October of last year, and I've commented on many times, nothing changes my view of this wave 5 impulse on this 1 hour or 4 hour, on this 1 hour or 4 hour chart, okay? There's nothing that's going to change that fundamentally. Something would have to shift in here, okay? Weekly, though, I mean, you can see where we're at. We're right in this red zone of resistance. This is nothing to be unexpected. It would have been, if we got up this week and we just punched through, okay, this week, and we actually had a candle body up here, I would say that would be less likely, because there's a reason I drew out this zone here. It's not even just lines. You see how I have red lines of resistance up here, right? This zone, the reason I drew that out in this fashion is because there's a lot of price confluence in this area. Check all this out back here, okay? When we've been above, it has served as support. When we've been below, it's resistance. We can't get above it. We couldn't get above it. We finally got in here, okay? So the more likely scenario is this red zone of resistance between, I feel like the weatherman talking about like a hurricane. The red zone, maybe it's just because I live in South Florida, but they talk about zones within the cone of worry. It was called the cone of worry, okay? The red zone of worry is between 28.8 and 32, okay? So let's call it roughly 29 to 32,000. This should provide resistance for Bitcoin for perhaps the next few weeks. It would be a huge testimony to the strength behind this price movement if either this week or next week we could get a candle body close above 32. I just, as much as I want to see that happen, it's not as likely. Okay, there's going to be a little bit of consolidation in here for a couple weeks before we really start to punch up here. So we'll have to see how the charts play out. 3-day. There was one thing I wanted to. I spoke to this chart yesterday. If you don't know what I'm referring to, go back and check out the commentary. But I was playing around more with this, and the one thing I wanted to emphasize, because I spoke to about anticipating a golden cross in this chart as long as we sustain bullish momentum, maybe like beginning or end of July. This is just a rough sketch, okay? Could it be the end of July? Could it be the end of June, as I'm showing here? Could it be the midpoint of June? Could it be, the first day of August? Well, it depends on price action, and this is just a rough estimate here. So I just wanted everyone to make sure they walked away with that idea in hand. Now, Ethereum. It's very important for you guys that actually do charts on your own and you're keeping track of prices. You really want to keep an eye on what's going on in Ethereum. And sometimes before Ethereum kicks up, right as Ethereum is kicking up, we're going to talk to a related coin that tends to perform very well. You may want to keep this, even if you have a small position in your portfolio that's a swing trade play. This is one you may want to consider getting into because it has historically made large moves in the past. But you can see we got over this red resistance, right? We broke it here, back tested. I remember this week, I was live streaming this week, saying that we could wick all the way down into this region, but I wanted to see a candle body close up here. And we got it, perfect. Bullish hammer, trend reversal to the upside. That's what that is. But now what we've done, which is very bullish, is we've maintained this price level above around 1,800. The more we stay above $1,800 on Ethereum, okay, the more likely it is we're going to punch up to 2,200, and then 2,500 I have, and 2,800, okay? It would not surprise me one bit if by next week we're flirting up here towards 2,200. We're going to have to keep an eye on it. Who knows? Could get a large move tomorrow. I mean, things are definitely picking up very much so. So we'll have to see. Maybe next week or the following week we could start punching up by 2,200. It wouldn't surprise me by next week. And the other reason you want to keep an eye on Ethereum, I've spoken to this on this channel many times. I'm sure you're familiar at this point. But it is the king altcoin, right? So go the successes of Ethereum. so go the Euphoria and all the rest of the alts. So what was that related project I was speaking to? Ethereum Classic. Again, I'm not here for the fundamentals, okay? I'm here just to talk about the charts and historically what's happened. If anyone wants to call bullshit and say, why are you even taking a look at this? Now, I know I have some XRP fans here, and I'm a supporter of the project as well, but let's keep things real. In 2018, Ethereum Classic hit about 47 bucks. Back in 2021, we hit a high of 175. Okay, XRP didn't even clear its prior all-time high. All right. So again, I'm here to share with you what's in the charts. We're not here to talk about fundamentals. You can choose to take advantage of the opportunities that I'm presenting to you to look into yourself, or you can not. So anyway, one of the first things I wanted to point out on this chart, this is a weekly view on Ethereum Classic, okay? One of the first things that stuck out to me right away, actually, when I looked at this chart, if I can find the right tool here, one of the first things that stuck out to me, and it's one of the first things I look for on a lot of these crypto projects because they have very similar chart setups in many ways. You can see that the RSI has been increasing in value as the price has gone down in value, okay? For the most, well, actually, it's, I guess, technically level for the most part. You know what, I wouldn't even say it's gone down, really. I would say it's really since the point of, and actually the RSI was lower here. Yeah, so in reevaluating this, what I would say is there still is bullish divergence on the RSI, but the price, kind of looking at it, it's actually been going steady. I mean, there was a little bit of an increase in the price here, and you can see a drop off, but for the most part, we've stayed in this general zone right here, okay? But the RSI is increasing in value. So there is, what that's telling me beyond bullish divergence in layman's terms, if I want to communicate to you what that actually means, is strength is building inside of the price, okay? It's been increasing in value as price has remained relatively steady, right? So these setups tend to have bullish consequences. Stochastic RSI, how are we looking here? Looks healthy to me. I don't even need to see the level. 77 over 74 looks great. I don't have the MACD up here for some reason. We don't need to take a look at it. But the important thing to keep in mind with Ethereum Classic, okay, you can clearly see two things from this chart. First off, you can see the resistance I'm illustrating, okay? We also have what is called a broadening wedge. It's getting wider down here and it's more narrow up here. These have a tendency to break to the upside. Because I'm anticipating Ethereum to have some nice moves coming over the next handful of weeks here, I would anticipate that Ethereum Classic, whether it's this week or next week, is going to be pushing up to these levels right around $28. Okay, we're sitting at 21, so that would roughly represent a 30% move in price. Now, the next thing, depending if things are going in the direction that I believe they are, we're probably going to break this resistance. We're going to come up here, so we need to talk about areas of resistance in this area, and it wouldn't be uncommon to backtest this, by the way. But now what we need to do beyond this descending line of resistance is, okay, we need to figure out problem spots. Where is Ethereum going to have difficulty, Ethereum Classic? If Ethereum right now is at $21, we would not be in a good spot in the market. What's the price of Ethereum, Siri? $24. Oh, son of a bitch. $21. Okay, there's an area of resistance here right around $45. Other areas of resistance, I mean, there's a few others, but I don't want to muddy up the chart too much here. I would focus on these major areas, quite frankly. Let's worry first about clearing descending resistance around 29. Let's get up to 45. We're going to run into a problem at 45 and 59. But keep an eye on Ethereum Classic. The other thing I want to show you guys, and we're going to take a look at Litecoin tomorrow in the Litecoin relativity chart, because again, there may be a trade setup that at least you want to look into, even if you're not in it long term. This thing did break down. Okay, there was some strength here. You can see building in the chart here. We had a large move up. I remember tweeting about this one. Sometimes you have good calls. Sometimes you don't have good calls. This was a very good call. But you can see the main thing now that we've broken this area of resistance, the The main thing I would focus on personally, let's get off the RSI for a moment. Okay, the main thing I would focus on is we have a zone of support here. And if Ethereum Classic, let me tell you what this means in layman's terms. If ETC ETH, which is the Ethereum Classic Ethereum relativity chart, if that gets anywhere near these levels, that means that the price of Ethereum is historically much higher than it has typically been relative to Ethereum Classic, right? And it means some combination that Ethereum must come down and Ethereum Classic must go up in value, right? I mean, to some degree that's happening to make this chart kind of stabilize at an average level of where it's been at. Now, what I would focus on is this zone of support. We may even come back down to this level here. But anywhere really in these green zones, it's just telling you based on history, okay, that buying anywhere in these green zones is a favorable buy for Ethereum Classic relative to Ethereum. We also have this downwards area of resistance that we need to be focused on. There's a zone here, okay? There's a zone. Didn't want to move that. There we go. There's a zone. You can see if we do see some sort of sharp decline followed by a move up, this is going to provide a lot of resistance right in that area. Other areas of resistance that I would put would be there. This is one. Yeah, those are the big zones of resistance. So this is one I would keep an eye on. But you'll see whenever price does finish correcting, again, we're going to hit an area of resistance here and all in between here. But then we have these other areas of resistance if it really starts to make a move to the upside. So one that you'll definitely want to keep an eye on. Now, I wanted to get into, I have a question. Let's get to the question here because this isn't a TA specific question. YC says, CBG, that'd be me. Do you think there will be two alt runs this year? One will be a relief rally when BTC hits the 44 to 47 level, and then a correction will ensue next run to all-time high and Bitcoin will lead to new all-time highs? Yes. And since you're asking the question, let's take a look at what that would look like. It's a great question, and thank you for asking it. That would be my expectation. So if we go to the Bitcoin dominance chart, and I spoke to this in a video. I want to see if it's actually, wish I had my other... Thank you for everyone new tuning in. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button to show a little bit of love and support for the channel. Scenario 1. Is this it? Yes. So you can already see the way, now this is originally drawn and I haven't modified this at all. And it'll give you an appreciation for how much the chart has changed. So originally you can see I had a valid descending triangle, a fake out. We re-entered the pattern and it was completely valid up until this point, right? So the only thing that's still leaving credence to the validity of this chart is actually if you change time frames and you draw this out like so. That's really, and even there it's kind of, yeah, you're stretching it at this point. Because you can't have candle body touches. All right, so that's about as close as it's going to get. So this descending triangle is increasingly with more push up here at risk of being negated, and the pattern just didn't hold. Now, okay, so there's still, it just depends what time frame you draw this on, because you really do still have a valid descending triangle. Anyway, I don't want to get caught up on the pattern recognition. What I do want to say is we'll have to see how this monthly candlestick closes, though, because if we do get a big wick and a close in here, then it certainly lends credence to that this is still valid. But to YC's point, this is the general thought process behind multiple alt seasons, okay? But you can think of them as multiple alt seasons, but large runs in your altcoins. To YC's point, yes, the general expectation based on prior history is that once Bitcoin reaches some temporary top, okay, and has some consolidation, you're going to get a large run in alts, okay? And then Bitcoin will go for the gusto and go for the all-time high, and you'll have one more big run. This is kind of what this would look like, YC, to me. I think something to the degree, and now this chart has changed so much, but something to the degree of this where, I'm going to muddy this chart up. Let's actually come back up here. So, yeah, so we're all the way up there, right? So it would look something like this. Bitcoin dominance would eventually fall all the way to around somewhere in this area. It would finally break this zone here. It would fall somewhere between 36 to 35%, okay? This would be your large run in alts, number one, okay? This is just one. Then Bitcoin would come up here and maybe challenge this area because, again, keep in mind, this has been a strong area of support for now, okay? And that's going to break the next time we get down there, more than likely. So as Bitcoin's dominance is coming back up here, you know, alts will be correcting, right? And then there's going to be one final plummet, in my opinion. One final plummet to new all-time lows in Bitcoin dominance towards the low 20% area. So, yeah, I think there's going to be, in general, I hope that didn't save. Yes, leave, don't save chart. I think there will be two runs, so... it depends. Well, previous all-time, do you think, wait, let me make sure I'm reading this right. Do you think the relief rally will help alts run to previous all-time high or nowhere close? Well, I think it depends on what project you're looking at. Because some of these things aren't too far from their prior all-time high. You take a project like Polygon Matic, which I think has a very high likelihood of getting into the top three right behind Ethereum this year, if not early next year. You know, it could eclipse its all-time high before others. I just think it depends what project you're really looking at. Close is a relative term, or you said two previous all-time highs. I don't know. We'll have to allow the charts to develop because some of these, I don't know that that's going to be the case on that initial run because some of these alts, like when you look at a Harmony 1, it's sitting at 2 cents. I mean, to get up to its prior all-time high all the way up at basically 40 cents, it's like an 18x because of the 2.3 cents. I want to say it's like a, what, 2.4, 2.3 cents. So, yeah, 2.3 cents to, now, this is the actuary. I mean, I have to be exact. 2.3 cents all the way up to 40 cents would be like an 18x. So, let's check that. Let's fact check that. 2.3 times. Yeah, I mean, that's close. And I said 2.7 times 17. So it really was right in between like a 17.5x. I can do a lot of math in my head. So I don't know. We'll have to see how price develops and keep an eye on it. I mean, for something like a Harmony 1 or any of these projects, you all want to see them get up, at least 50% of their all-time high before I start getting really confident about them that things are really going to start breaching all-time highs. So we just have to, assess the price data as it comes in, right? So lost track of what I was doing there for a second. So let's get back to two charts, and then I'm going to take your TA-related questions. All right, this is Solana. This is on the weekly. This had a really nice move today. I just tweeted out to everybody who is in Solana that this thing is setting up for potentially a really nice move to the upside. So the first thing I want to show you is we're in this big downward resistance, right? Touches, right? I suspect Solana is going to be breaking out of this soon and breaking above 26 and getting right in between, basically in between $26 and $36, okay? If we go to the daily, look at the volume coming up here. We're coming right up to this line, okay? Right up. And as you can see, we've hit the 26 level here. We've hit the 26 level here. We hit it here. We hit it here. We're coming up again. Now, anytime you run into resistance that many times, question for the audience, does the resistance weaken or does it show strength? Well, it does show strength. I should say, does it get weaker? It gets weaker. Okay, does it get weaker or does it get stronger? The point is it gets weaker. Every time you come up here, it's like a jackhammer up against the ceiling. All right. So next time we get up here, I suspect we're going to break. Okay. We also have downward resistance. So there's two areas of price confluence right there. But, whoop. Look at the weekly. Look at this MACD picking up. Look at the histogram. We're almost at the zero trigger line. The RSI is at 48. It has plenty of room to run. Stochastic RSI looks beautiful. It's just making a cross 81 over 78. This thing looks like it is setting up for a big move. You are correct, YC. Delayed response. I wish this was more in real time. This is setting up for a large move. There's going to be resistance in between 26 or 36. We haven't looked at this chart in a while. The area I'm going to start getting really excited when we get above, okay? I would actually say, because that's a big wick there, a lot of volume. When you really, I mean, on Solana, when you see it maintaining price levels above 46, you should start to feel really good. But when we get above like $60, $61 with a candle body close on the weekly, look the fuck out because it's going to make a large move up. So that is what I would be watching for on Solana. The other chart that I wanted to revisit, and it's very timely that we do this, some good news finally came in today. And it's actually two pieces of good information. One is that Coinbase finally announced over the next 72 hours starting today, they're going to be airdropping for anyone who had the snapshot take place on an exchange, on their exchange. And secondly, which is a very good, this is actually, I think, even a bigger announcement than the actual token distribution, which is essentially, and I have to go back and read the specifics on what they said, but basically if the liquidity is there, they're going to offer buying and selling of the Flare tokens, which is great news because I had commented that one of my concerns when getting the airdrop is you'd have no exchange to sell them on in the United States. So that's really good to see. All right, let's get into XRP and talk about what's going on. Now, guys, if you recall, we looked at XRP last week and even the week before, I believe, okay? We've looked at it like 2 weeks in a row, or at least two of these live streams in a row. What did I say to you guys? Well, the general premise of what I said was that we were going to run into problems around 57 cents, and look what happened on this weekly candle, right? We ran up and we couldn't get above it. But I said to you guys, stay level-headed. This is the most bullish thing we could hope for XRP. Let's maintain our price right around this 49.5 to 50 cent mark. And why is that? Because the pink 200 SMA is there. What would have expressed weakness is if we pushed up here, we got above the moving average. Because we're above the moving average, it should act as a platform of support. If we closed back below the moving average with a candle body, I would not have been excited about that. But look at it. Price is maintaining itself, just sitting right on top of this moving average. This increases the likelihood, since this is happening, that now price is going to entertain some of these bigger price areas up in these regions up towards 90 cents to $1, 57 cents up to $1, okay? Because we're maintaining stability on top of this moving average. So, with that being said, these were all of the charts that I wanted to cover today. And we're coming up against time here. So what charts would anyone like me to do? And hit the thumbs up button if you haven't already. Raspberry. It's like, wait, what flavor is that? Raspberry bubbly. You guys do sparkling water. I prefer over LaCroix. I prefer the bubbly name brand. BUBBLY. I don't know why. I just prefer it over LaCroix. Have I ever charted? I don't think so. This is coming in from Matthew B. Matthew Broderick? Why, Matthew, welcome to the station. Or welcome to the station. What is this? Is this a radio station? Welcome into the channel, Matthew Broderick. Welcome to the cryptocurrency world. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I hope you guys know who Matthew Broderick is. All right. So ranked 571. I've never taken a look at this project. I don't know what this project is. Let's see what markets it's on. Oh, okay. So it's on Binance. Well, that's good. All right, well, let's take a look at it, my friend. This is Matthew Broderick coming in with the PIVX. Oh, I remember charting this thing out yesterday with you guys. Bivix. Oh, wow. There we go. Got a decent amount of price data here. Hey, nice job, Matthew, for getting a chart that has actually a lot of information here. Nice. Sometimes I get these charts with no price data. Well, I'll tell you what, this just kind of sitting back and looking at this guy. I like the chart setup on this one. Thank you for bringing this one up. This is, okay, so the MACD's real healthy. It's green. Had a little bit of a downturn here, very healthy above zero. It's positive. We're starting to round down here, but there's still plenty of space. RSI on the weekly is setting at 55, very healthy level. This stochastic RSI, now one thing I want to see is the stochastic RSI. I want to see this thing flatten back out, stay above 20, and get a positive cross. We're at 54 under 72, which is not good to see. So we want to get that thing positive. But let's take a look at price action. Price action is king. Now, why did I say I love this chart? There's a lot of symmetry in this chart, and I really appreciate it, honestly. I'm not joking around about that. So, but we're all nerds here, right? So, I mean, at the end of the day, you know I'm being dead serious with you. I'm being so motherfucking serious. So motherfucker. All right, this is a downward area of resistance. You could draw this a couple ways. I kind of actually like the idea of involving more wicks personally. So maybe something like that. And then you just want to make sure the line isn't going through any candle bodies, okay? So this is the first thing I see is, okay, we're coming up soon against descending resistance. I also see this area of red resistance. Sorry, this just stuck out to me. I have to plot that. About 51 cents. We're going to call this 51 cents. Okay. So there's this area of resistance at 51 cents. One of the things, though, I like to see about this chart, and is there any bullish divergence or anything going on? No. How about in the 3-day? No. Okay, let's get back to the weekly here. Just talking to myself. All right. The other thing that I like to see here, I like to see setups like this. And I'll explain why. So we're kind of looking at this chart, and especially knowing where the market's at, this is ticker symbol PIVX. I know that more than likely this is the bottom. Okay. I know this is the bottom. And right now, price has been creating these higher highs and higher lows. We're sort of, in my view, we're sort of coiled up right in this area, okay? And I know that there's a strong potential because we're also against downward areas of resistance, okay? Listen to the story, okay? Listen to the story. The story behind a lot of chart formations like this, okay? If you can get some momentum that builds up, typically what likes to happen is when there's a true trend reversal to the upside, we'll blow past descending resistance, okay? And we're going to start coming up in these areas, and let's talk about where we face resistance. And then you have an opportunity to load back up because we often like to come back and retest before we go up, okay? So I really like this chart setup. Now, if this theory holds true, and even if that theory doesn't hold true, once we get above this descending area of resistance, where else could we expect to run into problems, okay? I would anticipate an area right around here, okay, at $1.13, 1.13, okay? $1.13 is going to be another area. So where else could we face resistance? Well, there's absolutely some price confluence like right there at 218, okay? And you can see how I got that. You can see the wicks, candle body, wicks. Back here, same. I mean, there's price confluence back there, so that's not surprising. 218 is going to be a problem spot. And then obviously, you look at the fact that price, you want to talk about seller exhaustion. You want to see a perfect picture of seller exhaustion. What this is saying is price opened right down here. Okay, we went a little bit down, but then we went all the way up to $6.55. Seller exhaustion came all the way down to $2.18. Okay, wow. That would have been nice to have a buy limit order up or sell limit order. having bought in at these levels. But this is what I would focus on. Thank you for the question, Matthew. We're coiled up inside here. Let's break descending resistance. Then we have $1.13, 218, and all the way up at 655, which is interesting. Real quick on this one, just kind of looking over to the left there. Actually, it looks like there's another area of resistance I draw right there. It's at $4. So I would say $4 is another area. Okay, 218, 4, 655. Thank you for the question. We got time for uno más charto. Charto is Spanish for chart. Uno más charto. I don't know what kind of language that was. I have no idea what was going on there with my voice. What's going on, Bitcoin? 3238. Oh, you know what? One other thing I wanted to hit on real quick, if there's no other TA questions. I wanted to point this out from yesterday's conversation because I was going back in time. I didn't want you guys to think, and I actually went back to validate my thought process. You can still see we have this descending resistance here. There's negative divergence, even though price is going higher on the 12-hour time frame. It doesn't mean, again, it doesn't mean this has to play out or play out right away. Case in point is, it's a warning flag, though. Case in point, if we actually go back to this time period here, where we saw a monumental rise in price from 10,000 up to 60,000, you can see, where was it? Oh, right in this area I noticed. You can see that, you see how price is going up here? See how it's going up? But look at the RSI. It's declining, right? Eventually we negated it and we went up, and then, you know, we didn't we go up to 40 and then correct? No? See how much this looks like a blip on the radar? Guys, when you're in the moment, when it's the year 2021 was such a glorious year. I wish I could go back to 2021. 2022 was a god-awful year. This year's going pretty well so far. It's had its ups and downs, but, you know, it is what it is. So anyway, let's get back to the charts. So when you're living in this moment and you're down here, I mean, look at this, right? Imagine we're right here. This is how this looks in real time, ladies and gentlemen. $19,000 in December of 2020. Okay, we're at $19,000. And then all of a sudden, holy shit, we're all the way up at $41,000 in the span of a month, less than a month. Wow, no, a month. We shot up 2x. And then we sort of go chippy chop. And then we just continue riding higher. And imagine what people were saying back here. We corrected from 41 all the way down to 29. You know, people were spelling the end of the world here, right? And then we continued from 29 and we doubled again. And we went up to 64, didn't we? 64, 62? Okay, so I mean, this just puts into perspective how quickly these things develop. I keep trying to, some of the things I share with you guys, I try to, reiterate over and over again. I don't want you to lose perspective. It's tough when it's in the moment, but, you don't go against the trend. If Bitcoin wants to shoot up from 28,000 to 30, unless if something materially changes in the chart that's concerning, I don't know where I was going with that thought process. I really don't. Do you ever lose your thought process, completely lose your train of thought? Anywho, let's see if there's any more questions. Vertcoin. I have heard of Vertcoin. Let's take a look at Vertcoin. I would ask for DGB. Yeah, nothing's changed on Digibyte. Digibyte's one of those coins. Hey, Matthew, keep the TA questions coming on successive live streams. I really appreciate it because both tokens, I know Vertcoin, but I appreciate some of these ones. Like this coin here that you asked me to chart. I love when you guys ask me to chart things that have a lot of wave symmetry and it's easy to draw resistance and support. Very, very good. So keep those questions coming. Where was I going? I was sidetracking and talking about something, but now I don't even know because I got thrown off. BTC. Oh, excuse me. Hey, what was I talking about? Forgetting what I was talking about. That's what I think I was talking about. Have I confused anyone yet? If anyone just tuned in and has heard me talking for the past 30 seconds, they're like, why in the hell did I subscribe to this man? Wow, this has a lot of price data too. A lot of price. Vertcoin was all the way back. Okay, so this was, I mean, I know I've heard of it. I didn't realize it was that old. I thought for some reason it came out in like 19 or 8. No, not 19, 18. I know I heard of it in 18. Okay, so this thing's been around for at least since 2015. Good call, Matthew. All right, what time frame do I want to look at this on? Man, you could look at this on a monthly. This is so exciting. Okay, so let's look at this on a monthly for a moment here, because there's not many charts that you guys actually come to me with where you have monthly price data. Okay, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. The MACD. Digibyte. I was talking about Digibyte. Wait, let me get back to this chart. Digibyte's one of those coins where it's hanging out at a penny, and you're going to wake up and it's going to be at 2 cents. And then by the end of the week, it's going to be at 3 cents. Point is, it has very much the capability to triple within the span of a week. Go back in time and look at the price data. Thank you, YC, for the reminder. I had no clue in conversation where I was at. Vertcoin, okay, this is on the monthly. And the thing that I really appreciate about this chart, look at this MACD. It's starting to curl. 20, the zero trigger line, excuse me, not the 20. The zero trigger line is right there, right? So we're several months away from getting above the zero. But very good to see this thing's going to cross bullish. 42, little low on the RSI. Plenty of room to run. Stochastic RSI, not good to see. It's crossing down at the moment. 13 under the 19. We want to see a push up and get above 20. So I want to see that thing come back up. Let's see if we can get some strength coming into the market this week. So couple downward areas of resistance. Okay. Debatable. You could draw it like this. You could draw it like something like that. I'm just going to draw from the tippy top, all right? So I'm going to draw from there to there. So you can see resistance, resistance. But the other obvious area, yeah, we're still hanging out here. Look at that. Okay, so you can see touches, 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 touches. Okay, we're still under here. All right. So, and then there's a base. Again, love the market symmetry here. Now, it does remind me of XRP in the sense that it did not create a new all-time high. Last cycle. Okay, so we're actually, I would define 13 cents as a key area. Looks like Vertcoin's actually under there right now, 12.2. So first thing I'm going to tell you, Matthew, is for the current month, now this is on a monthly chart, we need to close above 13. I don't want to start getting candle body closes, because you see how I drew this line? All these, you see how all these candle bodies are above this green line, okay? This one is hanging, look at it, it's hanging out below the green line. We don't want that, okay? We want it back in the group above the green line. All right, so I want to see this month close above 13 cents. Now, other key areas I would be looking for. Well, I mean, pretty obvious, right? Let's break the blue resistance. Let's break the gray, downward gray resistance, right? All these downward areas of resistance we need to break. Well, where are we going to run into problems with price, okay? Oh man, there's so many different areas you could choose from. I kind of like that right there. You got 23 cents is going to be an area. Other areas, I kind of like this area right here. 34 cents. So you got 23 cents, 34 cents. Let's see what else we got. Oh yeah, clear as day. That one's all the way up at 77 cents. Okay, these are the main areas of resistance I would focus on for Vertcoin. I'm taking a real high level view of this. We can go granular for a moment and look at like the weekly or something. But current month, let's close above 13. Descending resistance. Then we're going to battle, and this technically is red at the moment. We're going to battle 23 cents, 34 cents, 54 cents, and 77 cents, okay? Those are the areas. Now, on the weekly, can we see anything kind of coming in here that gives us confidence? Cross down here, not good to see. You want to see that reverse. RSI is oversold at 36. Stochastic RSI does not look healthy on the weekly. Trying to give you some signs of hope here if you're bullish. Nothing in the chart at the moment is leaving me with a lot of confidence in the current price action. Yeah, it doesn't look great. Now, the one thing I will say, let me go back. Okay, well, that's encouraging. Looks like there's a little bit of bullish divergence on the RSI. This is the weekly. Little bit of bullish divergence going on there. That's still above. So a little bit of bullish divergence building there. And I was going to say the same thing in the 3-day. I mean, you can kind of see it. It's not drawn perfectly here, but you can see his price is going sideways and even going down. The RSI is going up. So, I mean, but just kind of zooming out again, Matthew, the key thing you want to focus on this month is does VERT close above 13 cents? If it closes above 13 cents, you should be like, whew, sigh of relief. We don't want to have a candle body close under 13 cents. That would not be good. So that's what I would look for on VERT. All right, everybody. I appreciate everyone tuning in. Make sure to hit the bell icon for notifications to know when I go live. Hit the thumbs up button. Drop me a comment. Show some support. Not too much to say. I hope everyone has a good rest of the day. I will be back at you tomorrow. I'm going to get a lot of sleep this evening. A lot of sleep. I'm already starting to mentally prepare myself for leg day tomorrow. I might go heavy tomorrow. I might do the back squats heavy. Heavy for me, something close to... thank you, Matthew. I appreciate that. Always appreciate the positive feedback. Glad you find it valuable to take time out of your day to listen and watch. And that's the thing, guys, too. If you don't have the opportunity to actually watch the stream live, I still speak to price targets and I think speak enough in a way that you can understand what it is that I'm speaking to. Thank you, YC. But real quick, just wanted to say, I don't know. I might go a little heavier tomorrow. So you get older, your thought processes change on stuff. I don't use a belt. Ciao, amigo. What was I saying? Oh, I don't use a belt. Okay, I only use weight that my body can support. I don't lift super heavy. Heavy for me on deadlift days. Typically, I don't like to go below about 5 repetitions. But tomorrow, damn it, I might attempt either a 385 or 405 back squat. So we'll see. We'll see how I'm feeling tomorrow morning. But I got fuel up, and I got to get some sleep tonight. So that is what is on my mind. So I hope everybody has a good rest of the evening. So my computer takes a shit on itself. Take care, spread awareness, carry the education forward, and make sure to come back here tomorrow. I will be streaming again tomorrow around 5:36, all right? Take care, everybody.